Welcome to my show. I'm a guest here. Her name is Michelle Blood. Mrs. Michelle, how are you doing, ma?
I'm doing great, thanks, Tammy. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you very much, Mrs. Michelle. Firstly, you are a teacher. You are also a songwriter and a singer. I checked a lot of things about you. Can you please, ma, discuss more about yourself and how you are doing currently now, ma?
Well, I started singing at a very young age on TV, and I went on to have a quite a successful rock band in Australia, where at one stage we toured non-stop for 7 years. You know, we had a record label, we were making records and um, recordings and music videos, and that's my background, my original background. So then I had a near fatal truck accident when the truck driver who was I was with, carrying all the huge speakers and musical equipment, he fell asleep at the wheel after a 12, 14-hour drive, and as the passenger, I was crushed by all the big speakers and musical equipment. And but that wasn't a tragedy. It was the best thing that ever happened to me, even though at the time it didn't seem like that, that's for sure.
Hmm. Completely agree. It will not be easy for you that time. That time it will be very, very traumatic. But it really brought a lot of opportunity for you today. Thank you so much, Michelle. And can you also discuss about your books? You've released over 80 book now and your world first manifestation video book. Can you please discuss more about that, ma?
Yeah, I wanted to start making apps with all my positive affirmation music, and I was writing a book. I write books all the time, and I was writing a book called Manifestation Through the Power of Mysticism. And I always do an audio version as well of every book I write. So I did the audio version, and then one of my team, Holly, she and I came up with an idea of making it into a video as well, so that you can see the visual of the of what I'm speaking about. Beautiful, positive images, and so on every topic, there's images to go with what I'm saying. So you get to read what I'm saying, hear what I'm saying, and see all the visuals of what I'm saying. And then at the end of each chapter video, there is a music video of one of my positive affirmation songs, again, with all these beautiful visuals to put so people don't have a chance for their doubting mind to reject all the positivity. So it's an app and it's also you can get it from magnettosuccess.com, or you can get it from Apple from onto your iPhone. Manifestation video book.
Yes, I also saw this manifestation video book, and I also even saw your application. Look all great. There was also one music I heard, if I can remember. I just saw it on your YouTube. When I was just hearing that music, I was just like, "Money makes me." I was like, "Wow, this really, really is fine." I was just nodding my head while I was just listening to it. The music was very, very lovely.
Thank you.
All right, Ma. Firstly, can you please, Ma, explain to us what enlightenment really means, and how would you try to explain it to someone unfamiliar with the concept, Ma?
Well, I think if someone has not heard about enlightenment, they just think of it as a word, like enlighten me, tell me more, But no, it's not used in that way. Enlightenment comes to very few people. I had an enlightened teacher. I searched the world for an enlightened teacher, and that is a person who is fully awake. Like the Buddha said, they said, "Who are you?" And he said, "I'm awake." And so I studied with her for many, many years into deep meditation, and eventually my Kundalini had gone up my Sushumna so many times. All my chakras had been ignited. And eventually, after a few years, I too became awakened. And what it does to you is it releases your mind from a lot of fear, no matter what's going on. And you can love people no matter what is going on with them or in the world. And you don't judge anymore. You can just see what you can bear witness to what is happening without going into fear. Because most people's lives have some suffering because they have fear in their life. And once you're awakened, it doesn't mean that you still won't go through challenges, but you won't have the fear to accompany those challenges. And you don't complain anymore, and you love people unconditionally. It's a beautiful experience, and it's very hard to go through it, but because the world's a little tricky, people are a little tricky,
Mm.
but you do. Sometimes it's a little not feeling alone, but sometimes it's a little, because I see humans doing all their tricky stuff and going through their fears, and I don't like to see people suffering, and I never ever would cause anyone else to suffer. And it's just it's beautiful, Tammy. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's also show the quality you have as a mother. You have this feeling of, I want to treat people the way I am meant to be treated. Thank you so much, man. And are there also any specific practices or habits that can help someone begin their journey towards awakening, ma?
Well, first of all, it's important to have positivity in your mind. So my affirmation pop songs, they affect the left hemisphere of the brain with the lyrics, the affirmations, and the right hemisphere of the brain with the music and the singing, the melody. And so it goes into your subconscious mind 300 times faster than just saying an affirmation. So it's important to, and speaking of the money song, we've got a great app as well called Magnet to Money app that you can also get on Apple. And that's got daily meditations, tons of affirmations. It's got the Magnet to Money song notifications. So to start with, I would highly recommend that people begin to use my positive affirmation music, because it works very quickly to put you into a more positive state of mind. And then you can go deeper. Like, I've got students from all over the world, Tammy, and it's good to start off with every tool that I have in my divine toolbox, which is,
Yeah.
or you call it a manifestation kit. One of my friends said to call that the other day, which I thought was clever. But it's important to understand that stopping thought, that's my latest book, is called Stop Thought. It's very, very important to learn how to practice meditation. And if you're going to learn how to practice meditation, to find, if either myself or someone who really, really, really knows enlightenment and can transmit light to you and teach you how to meditate, but also meditate you, transmit light to you. Because when I met my enlightened teacher, everything changed. It was so much easier to meditate and go deeper and deeper. And so the meditation practice, it's not for cowards.
Mm.
Enlightenment is not for cowards. It's not easy. If people say it's very easy to become enlightened, they're trying to sell you something. Because it is a very challenging thing, because you're fighting with your ego and your fears and all the shadow parts of oneself that people normally want to hide from themselves as well, as fast as they can. No one wants to face their own negativity or their judgments or their fears. They would rather do something else than, eat 10 pizzas. I don't know, do something to stop them from thinking about where they need to change themselves and what they can do to make other people happy and
Yeah.
keeping everything, so meditation practice is challenging to start with, but once you really get into it, Tammy, it's it's a privilege to do it. To connect with your higher self, with your divine self, is a privilege, and it takes you away from the Maya, which I call, the Buddhists call the Maya, which is the world's consciousness of all the thoughts in the world that have ever been and that are, which is very, very tricky, because
Mm.
not everybody is positive all the time. Who knew?
Yes, I completely agree, Michelle. You know, having meditation, even it also bring this points of humility to someone. It's really, really helps. And what challenges do you think people typically face on their path to awakening? And how do you think they can overcome them, Michelle?
Well, I think really the main thing is consistency, because people don't understand that to have change, you have to consistently do everything every day you can to awaken yourself, to be positive, to keep a clean home, to meditate every day. So some people think, oh, I'll just go to an ashram once a year and that'll do me. No, it's got nothing to do with that. It's the
Mm.
ego is going to burn you alive if you go to an ashram and you haven't been meditating before. It's important to consistently practice whatever it is you're going to practice, whether it is uh, doing the affirmation songs or whatever it is, to do it consistently and to always, every single day, do something that's going to uplift someone else, to make someone else happy. That is extremely important, because then we get out of our own little self and our own little fears. And when we can get out of our own little self and our own little fears, well, then we can find solutions to the challenges that we're going through. But if we stay in fear mode, we don't find solutions. We just find more challenges.
Yes. Thank you so much, Michelle. And are there also any specific spiritual practices or teachings you could recommend for those seeking enlightenment, ma?
Well, the spiritual practices, if someone really wants to go deeply, my new book, Stop Thought, has got over 14 years of my teachings all
Hmm.
put in one book, and it covers everything you can imagine. But I think a great place to start would be getting the manifestation video book, because have you seen any of it, Tammy?
Yeah, I've seen some of it, ma. I've
And what
seen
did
some
you
of it,
think?
Michelle. It's great, I checked everything. Some of it was great, Michelle.
Yeah, so it's good because your doubting mind doesn't have a chance to reject what you're hearing or watching. And I
Yes.
think we cover so many different topics to do with positive thinking, meditation, success, manifestation, of course, and lots of different things that I always teach in a very simple way. I call it KISS.
Mm.
Mwah. Keep it simple and spiritual, and you'll go far.
Oh, thank you so much, Miss Michelle. And I know you said someone must not be a coward if they want to, go into the point of awakening. But what do you think it mean to let go of ego? And why do you think it is considered as an essential step towards awakening? And
Well,
Michelle.
because the ego is the Maya, it's the collective consciousness that is, you have a negative thought come into your mind and you think it's your own thought, and you don't realize you might be sitting on a bus next to someone who's really moody and in a bad mood. And you think it's your thought, but you're taking on, because we're all very psychic with each other, you're taking on someone else's moody blues, so to speak. So it's important to, first of all, be very mindful of who is thinking that thought. Is it coming from an outside source or is it coming from you? And it's important to be able to navigate that. And that takes a little bit of teaching. But as I said, with the manifestation video book, I talk about that as well. And in the new book, Stop Thought, I talk about it in depth so that people can really, really understand it. Keep it simple and spiritual. Kiss, kiss, kiss. And the ego is selfish. It wants to be the boss. And the ego is, it's like all your senses, your smell, hearing, sight, the five senses of humans are the masters of our life, and we don't realize it. They Those senses tell us. to do something we don't want to do or that we know isn't for our highest good. But the senses, when we can master the senses, say, for example, someone wants to release some weight and they just look at a Pizza Hut, like advertisement or
Mm,
walk by a Pizza Hut, they don't allow themselves to stop and say, no, 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 you're being strong. You're going to diet and release weight. So they let the senses of the smell and the sight of it take over, and that's the boss. So if you can
mm,
be aware that your senses are leading you and become the boss of your senses, because the ego loves it when we're selfish,
yeah.
loves it when we're mean to people, because it feels like it's the boss, it's the master. But then later, the person always feels bad because I don't know about you, Tammy, but I've traveled all over the world and I've found that everybody in the world, no one wants to make someone else suffer. If anybody is mean to somebody else, later they suffer, the person doing it, because they realize that was mean. Nobody wants to be mean to other people.
Mm,
So it's important to be strong and to realize that whenever you're feeling selfish or it's all about me, get out there and do something else to make somebody else happy.
mm,
And you will, then the ego will stop trying to be the boss. But it doesn't want to die. It thinks it's going to die when you start trying to stop thought. And so it gives you even more obstacles that are all in the mind. They're all in the mind, and anything can be overcome. Any obstacle can be overcome for sure.
mm. I completely agree, Michelle. Thank you so much, Michelle. And during a person's spiritual journey, there will be a lot of doubts and there will also be a lot of fears during the time. So, how do you think someone can deal with doubt or fears about their spiritual journey, Michelle?
Well, I think it's just fear of the unknown. If people are always afraid of the unknown, something they haven't experienced before, like getting in an airplane, getting into a car the first time, learning how to drive, but they're not all irrational fears, but a lot of them are because we don't know what to expect. So it's fear of the unknown. When someone starts working for themselves, they can be in a lot of fear if they're used to just getting a paycheck every week. It's fear of the unknown. So to rise above fear of the unknown, it's best to keep your mind as positive as possible. And when you go into meditation, ask for a solution to the challenge that you're going through. This is what I do, and an idea always comes up. Or you can have a mastermind with your friends, which I like to do as well with my team, because then someone else can come up with an idea that maybe I hadn't thought of, whether it's for marketing or whatever it is,
Mm,
to do an event or, so if you can find some like-minded friends, and it's not always family.
yeah.
Family think they know you. So if you tell them you're about to do something new, jumping off, they'll think it's dangerous and they'll be afraid for you. So you don't tell people about something that you want to do that's new and it's exciting to you. It makes you want to get up in the morning and make your bed,
Mm.
So it's important to just share with people that are going to be enthusiastic, and you can also be enthusiastic for them when it's their turn. I think that's lovely to be able to find that.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree, Michelle. Thank you so much, Michelle. And if someone wants to take, their first step toward enlightenment today, what advice would you give them, Michelle?
Well, first of all, um, find yourself an enlightened teacher. I traveled the world and did huge gigs and seminars all over the world before I found my
Hmm.
teacher. And so it's really important to know that you need guidance. It's like, Tammy, trying to learn piano without a piano teacher, it can be very challenging. it's good to have someone who can teach you and have your back, so to speak. And so I think that's important. And today I'm going to gift to your listeners uh, The Magic of Affirmation Power, the full audio book, which has speaking, singing affirmations, my journey as well in it. And it also has a 6-week mysticism course. All of that for nothing, absolutely free. And to be part of, as a member or call it a student of the mystical experience, where I have students from all over the world, they can have it instead of $50 a month, they can have it for just $20 a month. So there's a special sign up there as well. I highly recommend jumping on board to the mysticalexperience.com or just going to that link, Michele Blood, MicheleBlood.com/heritage. And of course, we've named it that just for your audience, Tammy.
Oh, thank you so much, Michelle. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Michelle.
You're welcome.
All right, Michelle. And lastly, there's a question I normally ask Michelle from the ancestors, from the forefathers. There are a lot of things that are missing during our time then, during the forefathers' time, in our time today. If there is anyone or anything you would like to bring back to our time today, what do you think that thing would be, ma?
So many things. I mean, people don't realize that there was on this planet beautiful beings of light in a place called Atlantis, where everything was enlightened. And they went on to, Hermes Trismegistus came from there originally. He ended up being in Egypt as one of the pharaohs, and he taught enlightenment to everyone. And it's it's important to know that we are here on this planet. You look at what the Buddha taught, Jesus taught,
Hmm.
any enlightened being, look at Hermes Trismegistus, as above, so below. It's just so important to understand that we are here. The whole purpose of our life is enlightenment. It's not about all these other worries and things that we go through. That is the main purpose. And we can't let anything or anyone get in the way of our awakening, because that's why we're here. Otherwise, we will repeat the life over and over and over again, experiencing the same negative things and not knowing how to get out of different rabbit holes. And we have to know and have faith, even if you are in some sort of a challenge, that that will be overcome and all is well, and that you are never, ever alone.
Hmm. Michelle, I sincerely want to thank you for your time, for the free audiobook that you love to give to the listener. Even I myself to need it, so I also take the audiobook. I want to sincerely thank you for everything, and I hope I see the link that I could just put on the description. That will also be better. Thank you so much, Michelle.
Tammy, you are absolutely welcome. God bless you. More love.
All right, ma. Bye bye.